Hi, I'm David Adams, your instructor for the Project Management course. And with today's lecture, we'll be talking about the quality plan. That is, what are the appropriate standards and measurements we need to have in place for a great project? What kind of scope change control we'll have in place to maintain the triple constraint? And lastly, what sort of customer acceptance criteria checklist we need to have to make sure we meet all the expectations of the project. Come with me as we learn how to implement the quality plan into the project. With this lecture, we'll be adding a quality plan. As before, we'll be reviewing what plan the project phase is and looking deep down in what a quality plan consists of. That is, the quality standards and measurement, the possibility of change control, implementing that in the beginning with your customer, and finally, developing a customer final acceptance checklist. And as before, we'll talk about best practices. As stated before, plan the project phase usually takes over 90% of a project manager's activities. And in this lecture, we'll work on the third of the 5 project activities, the quality plan. So what is a quality plan? And a project quality plan is a project-specific quality plan that describes the activities, standards, and tools and processes necessary to achieve the quality in the delivery of a project. Again, many organizations have multi-page documents that describe what their quality plan is. But for our purposes, there are 4 takeaways you need to think about for the quality plan: quality assurance, quality control, change control, and putting together a customer acceptance plan. Let's start with the first 2 components, quality assurance and quality control. In a very simplistic explanation, quality assurance is the proactive approach where quality control is the reactive approach. Some organizations have applied and got certified to certain ISO standards, the international standard for quality like ISO 9000, and that assures the customers that they have taken appropriate quality activities to make sure they bake in quality in their products and processes. And quality control is done in the control stage. That is how they test and measure how our product or processes may be behaving. So back to our class case study, the bulk delivery app project. The project team may specify in their statement of work for their procurement of the third-party software portion a software quality assurance ISO 25010. That ISO standard sets software product quality with components including functional stability, reliability, performance efficiency, operability, security, compatibility, maintainability, and portability. And if that's the case, the team needs to bake in their procurement document the statement of work that the supplier will maintain software quality assurance under the premise of meeting the ISO 25010 standard. The project team may go one step further for quality control and specify the type of testing for the quality control, such as using Data Hub. And in the procurement statement of work requirement, they may state the supplier will test the app performance based on agreed upon industry standards using the Data Hub tool or something equivalent. We now want to move into our third component of quality, change control. What is it? Well, it's a process that recognizes the deviation from the original project plan that can impact time, cost, or the specification. You need to recognize that change is okay during a project, but it requires some sort of review so the project plan baseline can be reviewed and accepted because there may be an impact on time, cost, or the scope. And it's important to recognize for the customer that if there is going to be change, that the project will use project change control. And this can be emphasized during your project review meetings when you talk about scope change with the customer. Change is inevitable. In many projects, after the project begins, someone wants to change something. And that could be okay as long as it's controlled. So you start with a project charter, you put the plan together, you put the baseline together, you start the process, and all of a sudden someone wants to make a change. And you have to decide whether you accept it or reject it. If you accept it, there's a new baseline, which means there could be a new project schedule, a new cost plan, and a new deliverable as far as the overall quality. So in summary, the need for change control is important so a project manager can protect the triple constraint. Avoid scope creep, that is adding extra work in without having control, and avoids gold plating, a term used where a project manager or project team will add extra features even though it was not specified. In this course, we're providing a change control template to maintain the scope, time, and cost. So in the event that someone wants a change, you can pull out this template and go through the process. So in the beginning, the customer needs to understand there is a change control process, and that should be included in a customer agreement or the contract, and no changes will occur until the change control documents were reviewed and approved. And again, we'll see an example of this in a further unit. Let's now talk about the fourth component of our quality plan, the customer final acceptance checklist. Why do you need to do this at the beginning? Well, first, it matches customers' expectations with the specifications. You create a fair environment for both the project team and customer. That is, we all know what needs to be done and we agreed on, and don't get disappointed at the project end when there isn't a feature or an item added when it wasn't specified originally. You may recall from the first unit when I talked about my own personal experience, the Nike job, the solar manufacturing, and we did not have a customer final acceptance checklist. So the customer could actually say they wanted everything or anything. By getting the agreement up front, you're fair to both the project team and the customer what the deliverables will be. So at the beginning of the project, the customer needs to sign off a detailed customer final acceptance checklist that he or she agrees to and will accept as a deliverable. The template provides a section where there's approval of acceptance criteria by both the project manager and the customer. As you can see in this slide, for the Bolt Delivery App project, the team developed 5 different criteria for acceptability. Again, note that this document is used in 2 different phases, once in the planning stage and then once in the closing phase. The bottom portion of the customer final acceptance checklist is the sign-off and the acceptance of the project deliverables. You can even check the box in the acceptance criteria for further demonstration. In summary, adding a quality plan is a best practice. You need to have the necessary quality assurance and quality control to ensure the overall project quality. You need to implement change control from the beginning, get understanding and agreement from the customer. And finally, create a customer acceptance criteria checklist at the beginning of the project. These are the best practices for a sound quality plan. Until next time.